Hello everybody, Riff Raff Hornhelm back with you once again, and we're here today with another review. Today we're going to be looking at a wizard called Mezmer the Magnificent, and we'll have our reviewer come out here momentarily and go through the chapter and verse on this interesting character who comes to us from a player who is, for a change, not in the United States. So that's always a nice thing. We love embracing the global gaming community. So we encourage more of you to send in those opportunities. And this is a quick reminder, is that in the description box below you have connections, both a email to us as well as forms that you can use, an example form, a real form, or you can just send us the details. This isn't hard, folks. Send us your characters, we will do a review, and you too shall gain some global notoriety. So let's move on to our review. Hi everybody, Red Hornhelm here, and I'm back. I know it's been a while, I know you've all missed me, but I'm back. And I'm here today to talk to you about a different character once again. So today's character is called Mezmer the Magnificent, and he is a mage, a wizard, from traditional AD&D, which is kind of nice to see from my standpoint at least. And he is a 9th level wizard who is, well, he really is willing to go any direction. He's pretty neutral in what he does. He looks out for himself mostly, but he's been known to do some good things. He's been known to do some bad things, but at least he's known to do some things. And Mezmer is a wonderful character, and he's brought to us by George. And George sent in this review all the way from the land down under. Sent this here from a suburb, it says, of Sydney in Australia. So, welcome, George. We're really enjoying your character. It's something very, very different. Mezmer the Magnificent specializes in illusions. And he dresses in a multicolored robe that's very indistinct and very difficult to tell what color it actually is. In addition to that, he has a staff, and as it's described to us, the staff has essentially like a small disco ball on top of the staff. And he uses that for projecting his various illusions and spells that are his favorites to use in combat. Now, one of the specific things that he's really good at is casting spells that not only show illusions, but allow him to sometimes control or fool the people around him, which makes perfect sense to me. He comes across, he's a human, and he comes across as middle-aged, nondescript, other than wearing this crazy robe that he's got on, and of course this awesome staff. And he's seen some stuff. Like I said, he's 9th level, so it's not like he just fell off the turnip truck, or the equivalent thereof in Australia. And he has done some really interesting things. So, first off, let's talk about his epic success. Well, his epic success was actually using his magic in a combination of things, along with some very, very good rolls, to fool a substantial group of orcs into believing they were marching forward when they actually marched backwards and marched off a cliff. Can you believe that? Off a cliff? So here we had, as it was told in the story, several hundred of these who fell off the cliff and died because of his epic ability to use magic in a way that was very, very useful and very helpful to the overall party. Saving the party, was celebrated by his fellow players. That was a pretty cool thing to do. I like that. I like ones where you fool the enemy. That's definitely okay. Dwarf Dog is very noisy tonight, so I apologize for that. Dwarf Dog is going to get a butt kicking if I'm not careful here in a few minutes. So, in the meantime, though, we'll talk about this epic success and say, well, you know, when we look at successes, how does this rank on a scale of 1 to 10? Oh, and talking with my Hornhelm colleagues, they all had pretty much agreement with us. We saw this in the range of a 6 or a 7. We always like to err on the side of generosity, so we'll definitely say a 7 in this particular case. So let's move on then to the epic fails. What epic failure did he have happen at his end? Once again, using his powers of illusion and magic and his powers of persuasion, he went out of his way to convince the king in a country they were visiting while they were on an adventure, to convince the king that they needed to have substantial financial backing for the next part of the adventure they were going to go through. And he did a series of rolls to try and convince the king that this was doable, that he should do this for the players and for this person. He now went through a series of rolls where every roll virtually didn't work out. Came out on the bad side of everything. By the end of it, not only did the king not believe him, but he had him thrown in irons and had his colleagues rounded up and thrown in irons as well. The only way they were able to escape was by bribing the guards with virtually everything they had in order to get out. So he not only cost his party their wealth, he cost the individuals in the party their primary goods, including magic items, in order to escape. And by the time they were done, they were pretty much half naked, outside, with nothing, and no money, and no means of getting any anymore. That's a pretty epic fail. If you leave all the negotiations to one person and they screw the pooch that badly, oh well, these things can happen. So, that was definitely an amusing fail, and I'm sure that it says in the note to us that that particular fail took 3 game sessions to evolve. That must have been a lot of fun. I would have liked to have been a part of that, or a fly on the wall. Would have been enjoyable. So, this epic fail actually tickled our funny bones quite a bit. And when we talked about it amongst each other and what the results were, we actually came back with an 8. So, from a fail standpoint, an 8. From a success standpoint, a 7. We're up to 15. So, then what was our overall impression, and how do they want to be remembered? Well, first off, let's go with how they want to be remembered. They want to be remembered as the most entertaining mage out there. If they were better remembered for that than for ending some great conflict or anything else, that wouldn't be exciting. What would be exciting to them is to be remembered as a top-class magic entertainer. I like that. That's different. That's very cool. Well done. I like you, George. And how did we perceive this as an overall character? I gotta say that when we all talked about it, we thought that this was a fun guy.
Well, hearing his epic success, and it was truly an epic success. I do not think I've ever heard of a finger wiggler able to cast an illusion so compelling that an entire group of orcs would willingly follow the illusion off a cliff to their death like lemmings. Or forest elves. I'm not sure which. They might be the same thing. As for his epic failure, man, having your entirety of wealth taken to bribe guards because your character couldn't handle a simple negotiation, oh, I don't know, I'd keep him in the group after that. But, Ingot, what are your thoughts?
Oh, I totally agree. You never want to leave diplomacy up to a finger wiggler. If it was a dwarf, it would have gone much better. Having to give up all of your clothes and magic items and money, man, I agree. I don't think I'd keep him in the party after that either. But it did seem kind of cool that he was able to get a whole horde of orcs off of a cliff. I suppose we'll give him, a good score for that one.
This would be a lot of fun to play with. So from an overall impression, we came away with a very strong positive impression, and we're going to give him a 7 out of 10. So 7 out of 10 on overall. 8 out of 10 for his epic fail, and 7 out of 10 for his epic success. So 22 overall, and that's a very respectable score. So well done, George. Well done, Mezmer. We really enjoyed you. It's got to be an awesome thing to be able to play in Australia. We see so much good content come out of Australia. They seem to have very much embraced tabletop role-playing games, which our hats off to you. Well done. Well done. So, that's my review for today. I wish everybody a good balance of the day. Hang in there, and remember, dwarves rock, and I'm Red Hornhelm. You're not. So wasn't that amazing? Mezmer the Magnificent. Kind of a odd duck, but what the heck? I thought that was just great. I really enjoyed that. I love characters and the wide variety of adventures and combinations that people use to put together such interesting characters. Keep it up. If you enjoyed this, please remember to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button in particular, and share this amongst your friends in the gaming community. Come back and see us again real soon. And remember, dwarves rock.